in 2016, the movie Rocky Balboa comes out, where Sylvester Stallone, who's now a 60-year-old Rocky, runs a hotel named after his wife, and his son, Rob, has estranged him, becoming a corporate lawyer and all that. Somewhere into the movie, you have this simulation where a new and upcoming boxer, Mason Dixon, is pitted against Rocky Balboa, and then the computer simulation shows Rocky winning. Right? This brings up a lot of interest, and then promoters get in, and Rocky is somehow sucked into the fight. His brother-in-law Paulie, advises him against it, but then now when he loses his job, they decide to go into this together. Right? His son is distraught, doesn't want him to do it, and then Rocky brings out one of the best lines in that entire series. It's about it ain't how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward, right? The fight goes on, and then it goes on for like 10 rounds. Rocky's training is fully based on power, and because he can't move as fast as his opponent, but then he takes a lot of chin and focuses on his jabs. And finally, at 10 rounds, they're both standing, right? The crowd is just chanting Rocky's name. He walks out into the sunset, the titles roll. It's a fabulous movie. My favorite in the entire Rocky series, even probably beating Rocky 4. Now, this isn't the intermission. That is also a different podcast run by Nitin Sundar. We're talking about that because what happened today brings full memories of that, right? So you have this team called the Chennai Super Kings. For those of you who are not watching this on YouTube, I'm wearing a jersey right now. And they just did what I would try to put into terms of that, right? They've been a very storied franchise, won 4 titles, have a captain who is way past into his 40s. They have no business even reaching the final, but then they take the beating. They take the beating after beating, right? They concede 200 runs, but after that, out comes the jab, out comes the power, and the title is home. This is I'm lost for words, though I'm hosting this episode right now. So I will stop at that point and welcome everyone to Bits and Pieces. This is episode number, I don't know what. My editor will fill that in. But this is Max, in case you haven't found out from the voice. And let me go ahead and bring in our panelists.
Wait, this is all part of the podcast, what you said so far. Oh, okay. Cool. Okay.
Macha, Max, amazing. I did not know you were such a huge fan of Ambati Rayudu. You compared him to Rocky Balboa.
So on the pod, we first have someone who I thought was like a walking dictionary of all the dialogues in the movie Michael Madan Kamaraja. Right? Every interaction with him over the years has resulted in one of those quotes coming out. And then I found out he also had a job, worked at Cricinfo, and then did other things, and now is happily retired and make podcasts for a living. So Nitin, welcome to the pod.
Catch my point. Thank you. Thanks, Max, for that intro.
Hey, again, you're retired. You're also paying tribute to Ambati Rayudu, isn't Nitin Sundar?
Hey, as the Rocky Balboa, the Rocky Balboa very different.
Next on the pod, we have a huge MS Dhoni fan and someone who also is part of innumerable podcasts. Someone who makes crosswords for fun, a skill I have no idea about. I don't know why it even exists. I don't know why people even do it, but there is a huge following for it. And therefore, we also have Tony Sebastian on the pod. Tony, welcome.
Yeah. Basically, crosswords is a way of coping with MS Dhoni, like proving all my predictions wrong for years together. It's the only way I can sort of face up to the day. Is by forgetting MS Dhoni's awesomeness for a second while I indulge myself in some black and white grids. What to say?
In all his puns, listeners may forget, but in episode 69, Tony did talk about CSK making the finals, along with Rajasthan Royals, who did not make the final, but at least he got 50% correct. Then on the pod, we have Mr. API, stand-up comic, and now a convert to European soccer, Mr. Murli Satgopan. I cannot pull an intro for him because Nitin killed all intros that can ever be done after last episode. So please go back to last episode and listen to that intro. Or else we can see if our editor can put that back into this episode. But yeah, I'm not doing an introduction beyond that. Murli, welcome.
Thank you so much, Max. Honored to be here.
Then we have Lodha Cup cricket champion, and also the man who is solely in charge of ensuring that despite all the other brands that come into the market, Parachute is still floating in the air and staying right up there. Vikas, welcome to the pod.
Hi, Max. Hi, everyone. Nice to be here.
So we had a fantasy league going on in the group, and Tony was beating everyone's ass. But then after that, slowly other players started waking up, and then Tony, very much like Rajasthan Royals, was found at number 5 or 6 or something like that. I mean, after 3, we don't count, right?
But my NRR was great.
But then there was another player who entered like a lateral entry into like how in engineering guys come in from diploma and in the second year and was at the top. It took a lot, but then I found out he not only plays this, he also plays fantasy sports for a living and makes money out of it or something like that, because no one in their sane mind would be playing in multiple leagues, let alone one. So Varun, welcome to the episode.
Thank you. Honored to be here. I feel like that Dream 11 winner who's there to just do the coin toss while the pros are in action.
Hey, we become that pod where we are repeating names now. This is the second Varun. We need to clarify this is not Varun Murli, but Varun Venkatesh.
Yeah, but usually what Varun says usually on this podcast is आप लोग सब जाके podcast बना दो, मैं Dream 11 में team बना रहा हूँ और पैसा भी कमा रहा हूँ. So yeah, well done.
Rounding up the panel, finally we have someone who writes so beautifully, and I'm actually very pleased that he has not written a book, because I would never read it. But his blogs are something that I love reading because they are, about 1,000 words. That's where my, my mental capacity ends. And I'm so grateful for that those 1,000 words of poetry that he can put together, and he can probably even write about Rian Parag's batting and make it look as if like Sir Nerval Cardis walked down to the grass, and I would still read it. So also a fellow Shane Warne fan, PDP, Prashant, welcome to the pod.
Hey, hi Dad. Thanks. Pleasure to be here.
PDP also has called another historic moment, and I probably want to start the episode with that. When Shubman Gill was sending RCB out of the tournament and Mumbai into the final, it was a very somber moment. You could see Virat sitting with a cap and kind of shielding his face because he couldn't watch the bludgeoning that was getting unfolded. PDP called it as the moment. It reminded him of the moment in Hobart when the very same person who was sitting in the dugout was the next coming, and everyone said, that the baton has passed from a certain SRT. So PDP, you call that for the Chinnaswamy in a T20 game.
I did the opposite of that. I said that I'm...
This is how much I read the messages.
Yeah.
Just be happy to write a book. Your messages itself is not
Yeah,
reading.
I know.
Imagine if you wrote a book.
Bad FIFO.
But by the way, hiding your face with the cap is the second best thing a Bangalore boy can do with a cap. Plugging in Rahul Dravid throwing his cap after RS elimination. Oh.
But something that we didn't talk about in the last episode was the sheer power of soft power of Shubman Gill, right? I mean, we know his prowess with the bat and all the 300s that he has made, but that post on social media was quite the thing, right? It did a lot of things. It not only brought the non-cricketing world to take note of it, because I've gotten that from people who have no business watching cricket or anything remotely to cricket. but he also gave Google Translate a lot of clicks that day, because everyone was just copy pasting that into Hindi and putting it and trying to figure out what he even meant. So, Nitin, what do you think of that? The thirst trap.
No, that's exactly what I also do when I see things.
Yeah? Thirst.
Der aaye, durust aaye, something of that kind. No, but that's exactly what I do when I see Hindi text. I put it into Google Translate because I need to. So yeah, very understandable that lots of people did that. But yeah, what's there to say? I mean, wonderful picture, and I think it gave a lot of people a lot of feels. And Shubman Gill is pleased when he has a bat in hand, and others have bat in hand also. So yeah, good on him, and yeah, wonderful IPL for Shubman Gill.
Did you see when others have bat in hand?
Nobody reacted.
That was a
We were very
nicely
classy
done.
about it.
He was playing in the V.
Okay. Now the shots are coming out. Seen away the new balls.
Yeah, no, but my point is basically, you guys are talking about, for those who don't have context, Shubman Gill, after scoring mountains of runs before his 129, right? Yeah, in the second qualifier.
Who knows?
Yeah, after his 100, before his 129, posted a picture in a towel. But I'm guessing after scoring 890 runs this season and ending up on the losing side, he is going to throw in the towel now. So everyone's like waiting for the next mirror fee, as it were. Because why not? I mean, like, he has brought the game into repute, actually, because at the end of the day, everything is about eyeballs. It's the only reason why MS Dhoni should still be playing cricket or like trying to. But anyway, Shubman Gill, bear it all. Like, why should Poonam Pandey be the only person who has promised this in a World Cup year? Let's go, Shubman Gill. I'm all for this.
All credit to Dada, however. Dada walked so that Gill and the others could run.
बहुत सारा प्यार मिले उन्हें. Yeah.
But in that case, we should talk about the final. We should talk about the final. Come on, how long have we not going to talk about the greatest IPL win in the year?
Hopefully for another year. Yeah, no, so I think, okay, let me go first. And like,
firstly, I want to say one thing. Much like the IPL final, we have now gone 2 days.
Fellow is like, don't interrupt others while they're speaking of soup. He's like, yeah, you say.
No, you stop someone, get them to shut up and then talk. And then once you get them to shut up, they're supposed to stay shut up, by the way.
Cool,
No. I just wanted to observe, much like this IPL final, we have now gone on for 2 days since this podcast started. And now finally the action's about to begin on day 3. But yeah, you were saying, Tony.
Yeah, no. So, okay. So there is this saying in Malayalam, which I've used about Dhoni earlier, which I won't repeat. But this is a different one, which basically says, find the person who's likely to boo your play and give him a role, right? So basically, like, don't let him sit in the audience, give him some kind of role so he's on stage so he doesn't boo you. So I myself will open my own sort of lashing and say, like, this has been like one season where everything that I've sort of probably predicted / hoped for has gone astray, right? And it reminds me of a 2006 season when I was much younger and didn't have any gray in my beard. I didn't have a beard at all, to be honest. And like, there was an article about Sir Alex Ferguson, which went shredding his legacy at every turn. And the author was someone called Rob Smith, and promptly Manchester United went on to win the season that year. And obviously it was posted in some messaging board and everyone spammed this fellow called Rob Smith. And I myself sent him a nasty message. I'm assuming, I don't know what the comment was. I basically asked him, now that, you've lost all your credentials as a journalist and no one's going to take you seriously, what is your occupation? Some shit like that, something that seemed clever to 19-year-old me, and he a 20-year-old me, and he responded with a full-time humble pie eater. So I want to sort of acknowledge how life has come a full circle, and I am a full-time humble pie eater now. And CSK has done something for the 5th time, which I didn't expect them to do. So kudos to them. Yeah, I guess that is the end of Sanju Samson's hopes as an international player and my standing in all sorts of fantasy leagues across the board. So, yeah, it's been a very, very interesting season. But congrats to CSK. I think that's the only logical place to start.
No, macha, but why is you hoped for something and that didn't happen. Why does that make you feel so sad? It's okay. We all hope for things. I mean, what's humble pie got to do with it? I mean, you feel bad, you feel morose about it. That's okay. You'll get over it in a couple of days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me explain. Since we are getting into therapy mode now, like we should also remember there are 5 others on this pod. But anyway, but basically, like I have this life philosophy where you sort of stick to your guns and call what you see, right? And also this philosophy where you bet against yourself, because that's the only way to hold yourself accountable, right? You can say that Sri Lanka are a trash team, and then like after they win the Asia Cup, you can suddenly be, hey, they always were supposed to win the Asia Cup and all. But basically, like betting against yourself is a legit way to sort of hold yourself accountable. So I firmly believe in that principle, and something like a fantasy league is a good way to hold yourself accountable. So I don't think there's any shame in admitting that you called it completely wrong, right?
No, but what exactly are you betting against, right? I mean, MS Dhoni and Chennai Super Kings are proven commodities. Like, are you saying that, okay, they're well past it and hence they definitely could not have won the season?
What was your call? Oh, wait, you're suddenly saying, oh, it was always like...
No, what exactly was your call? I mean, like,
my call would have been, if there is one team that deserves to win this year's IPL, it is Gujarat Titans, right? Like, absolutely the only team that has been flawless as much as a T20 format allows them to be has been Gujarat Titans. The 2 or maybe 3 shock defeats that they had, one was against Rinku Singh, one was against Jedrit, Sanju Samson. I didn't understand your question.
Actually, it's okay. We'll probably do this one-on-one later, but it's okay. No, all I would like to say is, don't be so morose and all. It's okay.
Oh,
it's fine. What is that?
You're like, okay, fine. I mean, like, it has happened suddenly, like snap or whatever. Obviously, it won't happen. No, there is a legit process of getting to terms with it. Unless you're a CSK fan, because you've already had 2 scripts prepared. One was, CSK won. Second was, did you see Dhoni stumping? Can anyone do this? Everyone else let him down with his fielding, but Dhoni. So, like, we don't have 2 scripts. We have only one, unfortunately.
Tony, would you rather
move on to more happier CSK fans like Mr. Varun? Please say something more happy.
Yeah.
Varun's not a CSK fan, but okay.
I am a CSK.
I think Dhoni
everybody is removing yellow t-shirt and
Dhoni has pre-grieved, I think. Like, I don't know if anybody understands the reference.
I do.
Because he's come in saying, I'm done with this. I no longer feel for this anymore. I am moving on. When are like Mohit Shabi and Gill boarding the flight because WTC is on? I want to slightly turn the attention differently. I don't know. This whole deserving thing is so fragile for me. I don't know what deserving is in T20, because if one other Yorker had landed this over, it was GT, and we'd always have the most deserving team won it throughout. And Jadeja, if he got any deeper, it would have gotten hit wicket. That's how deep he was in the crease. Coincidentally, he got bat on ball. It flew all the way for the first time. It was like anything was really, and it was very rare for a man in that kind of pressure. Mohit Sharma looked cooler than MS Dhoni. Like, they were constantly zooming on his face and MS Dhoni, but he was trying to shy away, saying, I did the dumbest thing I could do by walking out to bat at 500 years of age. If I had stayed in and Mohit Ali could have finished it, everybody would have been happy. Instead, he walked out, nearly screwed it up. And then they were trying to show, but Mohit Sharma had absolutely no emotion, man. He was going through the work so beautifully, delivered 3 outrageous balls to Shivam Dube, who was basically a crane. If you put it in the wrong slot, he'll hit it out. I mean, if Ravi Shastri had said anything more about his long levers, that's what we're talking about in episode 69, because that's how much Ravi Shastri loves Shivam Dube's long levers, who can literally, if he extends a little more, he's Mr. Fantastic from Fantastic Four. His hand itself will reach the boundary. That's how he's hitting the ball. And for him to just get anything in the slot was outrageous. just really sad that he had Ravindra Jadeja, who coincidentally got one and then one flew down the ranks. But I don't think I agree to this deserving game at all. I think CSK just got super lucky. Anybody could have gotten it.
Wait, when did I say CSK ever deserved it? I said only one team deserved to win this IPL, that was GT. They did. Yeah, CSK got lucky.
I think what Murli is trying to explain to you that it's not about deserving. It's about very thin margins and a lot of luck in a one-off T20 game. I would in fact say once it came to the playoffs, right? Even Lucknow Super Giants probably were 2 shots away from making the final. Probably not. They got hammered in that game, but. Yeah, it's a question of very thin margins, man, once you're down to the top 4 and all. Yeah, so I don't buy the deserving thing. Gujarat definitely were the best team in the tournament, no doubt about that. But after that, it's anybody's game in those last couple of games. And insane final. Was this the best final, guys, that you've seen?
Oh, please, fuck off. First of all, DLS has no place in T20. But what is this? Like, suddenly you're jumping from like, not deserving to, is this the best IPL final? This is definitely not the best IPL final.
Which was the better IPL final than this? No, one sec. Tony.
There have been quite a few, right?
You have to remember those finals first.
Hey, RPS versus Mumbai was fairly close, no? They won by 1 run.
Yeah, there were a couple that ended off the last ball.
Same with
RPS
Mumbai
versus
versus
Mumbai and Chennai versus Mumbai.
LBW to Malinga. Same. But I don't know.
This was right up there, I guess.
This was higher scoring, probably. Yeah. And boundary of the last ball. And both of those boundary denied of the last ball. Which end of the day, batsman's game.
The first of an 81 all-out stint is waiting patiently for his third.
Like a proper test match player is given the first 2 hours to the bowlers.
Prashant, tell us, what are your thoughts?
No, so actually, for a change with CSK, right? I mean, they actually played like a proper T20 team for a change. What was surprising was the identity of the players who were doing this. So they had a middle order batsman who was striking at 180. It's just that we didn't expect that it would be Rahane. They had a spin basher. We didn't think it would be Dube. We didn't think Rituraj and maybe Rituraj and Devon were a good pairing on top, but I thought it was really interesting that they didn't do their whole, we will do 140 plays 150 at Chepauk, which is what they've traditionally done very often in the past. They actually played proper T20 cricket. It's just that their personnel surprised us.
Yeah, and CSK has been the proper team, right? They've basically had Moeen Ali there just for secular reasons to say we will. And then, in spite Moeen Ali being there, they are like, Rayudu will bring the biryani because we won't reinforce those stereotypes for secular purposes, right? So CSK has been like very much the equitable team at the same time, like throwing away the stereotypes out the window. Yeah.
And I mean, fair play to them. I mean, if they can... I really don't know what levers were pulled with Rahane or what changes were made to his game, but the
Dube's levers.
Dube's levers. But I've never seen him striking this way before. So obviously he's unlocked something in his game.
There was one straight 6 which is just picturesque.
Today was amazing.
No, this entire campaign, like you mentioned, Moeen Ali not contributing anything entire season. Rayudu until the last couple of games, I think he had a couple of knocks against Gujarat in the playoff and in the final. But other than that, zero contribution for the entire season. And that entire bowling attack, Deepak Chahar came in, went out, and totally did not show up on the big day. And a couple of other kids, right? Lots of T20 analysts and these experts are going to look at that squad and scratch their head trying to explain how CSK won this season, right? You could say they got lucky in the final with the Duckworth-Lewis situation. I think it definitely played into their hands. But the fact that they even got so far into the final, defeated Gujarat twice to win the title with that squad, it's something that is going to always fly in the face of logic, because I don't think such a strangely put together squad is ever going to be tipped to win an IPL or any T20 tournament for that matter. Yeah. Especially a tournament where it is 12 playing 12, right? When you're 12 playing 12, effectively your team is stronger by a person. Imagine then going into a game with like 10 players, which is what CSK have been doing throughout this season.
On the other
No,
side,
but goes on to drive the point, that form is something which matters the most in T20s rather than the squad that you have. So pretty much everyone was in form. If you look at the batting unit, Conway got a lot of runs. Ruturaj, right from the very first game, scored a lot of runs. Dube with his levers, etc., always in form. And even the bowlers, like you don't need all 4 or 5 bowlers, right? They had 2 who were in red hot form. Thikshana was very good, and Pathirana, what a find, man. Has to be one of the finds of the season, right?
Neither of them was in Thikshana Weather had a very bad tournament. He didn't take any wickets, right? Pathirana was fine. He also went for runs a few times. They made do with whatever they had, dude. And look at their batting. Dhoni has not contributed. Jadeja did not bat. Jadeja could not score a run for the entire tournament. Moeen Ali did not score. Because they had like 4 contributing players, right? And that too, like PDP mentioned, the people who contributed were not the people you would have expected in the roles that they
Forget the entire tournament. It's like people didn't watch the first innings of the finals. CSK was shit, dude.
They were
shit in the field.
Shit was horrible.
Shit in captaincy. They had like one Dhoni stumping moment. Other than that, they were awful. Like they were
absolutely awful.
Yeah.
It is also a good time to spend a moment of silence for Ben Stokes. He doesn't remember he was there. Nobody remembers he was there. But in the first half itself, I think CSK were pretty horrible. And I think that they will discuss this a lot more. But if 220 to chase or the 217 or whatever the original score was, definitely a lot more advantage GT, because to keep this accelerator going throughout for 5 more overs with one more over, and Noor was outstanding. 1 more over Noor, 1 more over Rashid, definitely advantage GT. Just one of those bad days that the rain came down.
Also a good time to remind everyone that only, I'm guessing, one team has beaten CSK 100% of the time this season, which is Rajasthan Royals. So moral champions of the
I think
IPL.
Kolkata also have a 100% record against
Both times. Okay.
I think they played only once, but that is
any
also
other
good.
team, right? You will think this is a fluke, or this shouldn't happen. All that. But with this franchise, they've been doing this in so many seasons, right? This is like 12 playoff appearances, and in those 12 years, it's not like they've been dominant and they've been there, all that. You've had games where seasons where, again, the Dad's Army season, coming back after that season, the Dubai season, all of those, right? They've not been super dominant or had the best of the players or had everyone like going crazy and all that, but they've always just somehow. And again, Nitin had the best description for CSK I think it was in the last episode, where he said there are all these different spare parts, and then they come together and then they just MacGyver it and figure out, okay, with all what we have, what can we do? Instead of lamenting and putting Oppari of what they don't have, they do a very good job of making do with what they have, and that has been why they have been successful. Now there are other ways to be successful as well, and that is how like a Mumbai is successful, right? They get all these young talents, nurture them, and then back them, and they shine out. And there is this other way of how you just take people who come, like it's like a foster home. It's like a foster home where all these kids are coming from all these different backgrounds, and you bring them all in. You feed them nicely, you show them love and warmth, and then it puts it together. Like that's how their thing has been going.
Old age home, you mean? No, retirement home types.
Call it what you want, right? But that's generally how it has functioned. And they've always Dhoni has always mentioned in multiple interviews as well as that they are always a team of 10 players. They are always a team of 10 players. There's always one rotating slot, and it kind of depends. And that's the luxury they have. RR also has that thing, but the 10th player is also that 11th player, unfortunately, is a very important person of that team. But CSK is that. This year, MS could be that 11th player. Every year it is someone else, right? The previous season it was Watson, sat through 13 games, and then the final comes and unleashes a century, right? So that's always been that thing for them.
So I think the way squads are created now in the IPL is pretty different compared to a few years ago. Essentially, you need 3 or maybe 4 gun batsmen at the top. You need 2 fast bowlers and a gun spinner, and the rest you call upon when they need it. So even if you look at Gujarat, they have a Tewatia or a Miller who have been hardly used. I don't know the number of balls they've batted the whole IPL, but I'm sure it's somewhere for Tewate definitely under 100. I think he bowled one over in a dead match. So these guys are just called upon when they're needed, and they have to deliver 80%, 90% of the time. And it's going to be a match-winning performance if they deliver. Similarly, Moeen in the last game, I think he scored a 19 of 7 or something. Rayudu as well, he scored 3 sixes at the end to get Chennai to a big total. So these guys are not the ones who you were expecting to score a 50, 80, 100. That's only going to be the top 3. And the way teams are batting now, the consistency batsmen have, you want your top 3 to at least score, one of them to score an 80, another to score a 50. So I think the importance of a squad of 11 is being given a bit too much importance, I feel.
Yeah, fair.
Fair enough.
That does make sense. And that's where you look at teams like Mumbai or CSK. You can see that's the formula they've been following, right? Where you'll have power at the top, and then everyone will come and do their own role, and they will, as long as they are all have set roles, they can perform and they can take the team. But when you look at in the other side, look at teams like a Punjab or someone else who will say, yeah, I will go get this guy, I will get that guy. It's like walking into a Walmart and you have a plethora of options in like the cereal aisle. You don't know what to do when you're just getting boxes from the aisle.
Look at Punjab or Hyderabad, Delhi, they just didn't find the 11, right? Or their top 3 were not consistent enough to put a 200 on the board. So that's where I feel a lot of work is done before the tournament to figure out those plans. And I guess someone like Dhoni having a full year to think about it helps, where you don't have a Warner or a Hardik or someone who's playing other games. But yeah, I guess it all comes down to feeling comfortable within the setup, to know your role, and be able to go 3 matches without really contributing, but then contribute that 4th match.
Yeah, so I mean that's where I slightly go back to Vikas's point, right? Is you don't need to think about it for 12 months, right? I think Dhoni does something which very few people do, and all credit to him, right? Which is that is completely uncluttered. He's like, you do impact player, you do this, you do that. This is going to be my 12 for the entire season, right? I mean, to think about today's final, right? Mohit Sharma needed to defend 13 of 1 over. He bowled 4 beautiful balls, and for absolutely no reason at all, Nehra sent someone with a drink, right? And like Mohit was bowling beautifully. He had like given 2 runs of the first or 3 runs of the first 4 balls, and he had to defend 10 of the last 2. Suddenly, out comes a message from Nehra with some pink drink, and fellow promptly delivers the slot. Right, Dhoni would never do that. Right,
was that after the 5th ball or the 4th ball?
No, 4th ball. Before Jadeja hit 6. Yeah.
No, by the way, that 6th ball was a good ball too. It was just an insane shot. The 6th ball wasn't a bad ball. Only the last ball was really a bad ball.
Full toss on
5th leg stump.
No, man. No, that was the last ball.
Yeah. Oh, the 5th ball. Okay. That was
the 5th ball was. Come on. It wasn't slot.
No,
Jadeja went like Murli mentioned. Jadeja converted that into. It was still a pretty good ball. It was a pretty good.
He was staying super low to get under it. To scoop it up.
And how he got his wrist under that is
true. Yeah. Whatever. I mean, the point being that. Dhoni has a way, right? And it's probably like watching these people in the nets when they come into the camp and say, okay, this guy is in good touch and I'm going to play him for 14 or 17 games, as it were, right? And like he sticks to that. And eventually, the point being that it doesn't matter how well you start, right? In IPL, it's always about how well you finish. Because again, another team that made it close to the final, Mumbai, were completely shit for the... almost half the season, right? Until they found their bearings and then like found some mojo at Wankhede and finally threw Arjun Tendulkar out of the team. I think that's one good thing that Dhoni actually does, is to say that there aren't so many variables. It doesn't matter. Like all of these are distractions. Just like stick to one particular set of people and like give them a role to do. Over 14 or 16 matches, they will find their groove. If I see that they're in good touch, probably.
Yeah, that's broadly.
Go on. No, I just want to use this captaincy segue to also give a lot of credit to Hardik Pandya, man. Like, also, you mentioned one name, which in 25 minutes of the podcast, if you haven't said, poor Sai Sudarshan, whatever he did today was something completely out of the ordinary. The way he started and what he led GT to. And Pandya, before himself and all the Millers and Tevatias that Varun and the rest spoke about, he sent this dude and said, I back you. This is the final. Go do what you do best. And he delivered. Like some of those hits were outstanding, great shots over covers and all of those, the slog sweep to mid wicket, etc. I think it was, I would honor Pandya's captaincy and Sudarshan's batting as well. Just tough times where it didn't yield the results for them.
But as Harsha would say, all those dot balls he ate up in the beginning, they all came back to bite him in the end.
Hey, we do agree.
He was retired hurt in the last game. Right, in the last over, they retired, hurt him, and so they retired out. Sorry, not retired. They retired out, and then he comes and at like two runs a ball is what he was striking. So it was fabulous to watch that. And I was not following the first half. I was biking, but then I was checking my phone every now and then, and it only reminded me of this thing from the 2012 final, I think, where Manvinder Bisla, playing for KKR, was going hammer and tongs against CSK. I think he scored 89 or something like that. Then same thing. You got Gambhir. I thought we were good, but then Bisla comes. Same way. I thought, okay, Gill is gone. This is time to get into the team. And then Sai Sudarshan, what an innings then. I was luckily, because of the rain break, they were showing that again and again. But yeah, he was fabulous.
Hey, but we do agree, right, that two of the best teams of the league made it to the finals. And between the two, I think if we were to have a 5-match series, I'm sorry, I didn't want to extend this further, but GT, at least on paper, were the better of the two teams. And in a series of 5, I think GT would probably pip CSK 3-2 or 4-1.
They would have to win the next 3 because CSK
exactly,
2-0.
yeah, exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, the last 2 they lost.
Technically, it's 2 all. So we need one more to
give them 40 proper overs. GT will drum CSK.
No, but where are they playing is the question.
Yeah.
By the way, on that note,
this is BCCI, right? So all 5 matches at Mathura.
On that note, by the way, I know rain in the air and that played a role in the toss decision, but both these teams love to bat first, right? And I personally didn't know what the rain forecast was today. I was outside today at the toss. So I was just checking toss results on my phone to check, okay, who won the toss and this batting first is pretty much what I was checking for. So I pick up Cricket Info and I see CSK won the toss and elected to field. I was like, that makes absolutely no sense. And then I read up and they said, yeah, there is still rain in the air.
Here it comes. First of 3,000 LinkedIn posts praising Dhoni for tossing with the left hand. Did you know that he tossed the coin with the left hand today instead of the right? I think it's the first time he's done.
He's a great guy, man. He knows when to use what hand. He knows never overplay your hand.
This is the great leader meme. Like Dhoni is like, मैंने देखा cloud cover है.
Hardik, by the way, at the toss, Hardik said he too would have elected to chase. Though he also said, but it is final batting. He said something weird. Like, okay, but because
my
you
heart
also
wanted to bat, but but I would have also picked bowling or something.
Yeah, but except for that RCB game where Gill scored that 100 in the chase, their template in the last few games has been to bat first. Gill score a big 100. Everyone bats around him, and then unleash those 3 bowlers and kill the opponents. Right, that's what has been working for them. The one game they lost was in the playoff against CSK, where CSK batted first also. So, yeah, I mean, until the rain came down, it was very much going Gujarat's way. I think the mid-game celebrations, a bit whatever they had, the performance probably threw a spanner.
Now we can finally start the podcast. Eagle last time in Metaverse versus
divine intervention
this time. Which one do you prefer?
Is this the first time cricket has stopped for a pop culture performance, guys? I don't recall this ever happening before. Even when World Cup opening ceremonies happen, they start the ceremony beforehand to make sure that the game starts at the time it's designated to start at. But we had like a half an hour break today between innings. Thanks to
if you want a fucking closing ceremony, do it after the match ends. Not when there's rain in the air and you have to take 2 strategic timeouts, even if it's only 15 over.
It's actually in the name. It's called a closing ceremony.
Yeah.
You had one job.
Even if there was a closing ceremony, why wouldn't they start it at 2 p.m. and run it, or whatever, in your time, 6 p.m. and run it till 7? I cannot understand why they went midpoint, because they ate up 8 overs of the dry ball for poor Gujarat, who got a wet ball, a wet pitch, and still managed to do whatever they did in the power play, man. And
Yeah,
I think a lot of
something
things were against them.
Yeah, so only
Passive
something
audience.
similar, something very similar happened in the PSL this year. So I think the finals were in Lahore, and rain was forecast for the match. They actually advanced the finals by a day. So this is what BCCI does. It makes PSL and Pakistan Cricket Board looks more efficient.
They actually advanced the final by a day.
Yeah.
Wow.
I believe the same happened in the South Africa T20 final as well.
Wow. It's called hashtag build the roof. Yeah, everybody's thinking about it, right?
No, this rain has blindsided everyone, right? Nobody expected it to rain yesterday or today. It wasn't forecast. So
Keen followers of Ashana's YouTube page would remember a video from about a year ago, I think before the last WTC, where he does an interview with one of the groundsmen about a hovercraft, which covers the entire playing area. So I think BCCI should invest in one of those. It's not much. I think it's maybe the cost of one Seat Tire strategic timeout sponsorship.
no, or just do what Bangalore has done, right? Get that thing. It's apparently not disruptive to install that drainage system, whatever they've got there. And it's magical. We would have had a 20-over game, by the way, if this was Bangalore. And no delays.
To be fair to them, in this case, I don't think it was the outfield. It was the practice pitches or the side pitches on the strip. Which should have been covered by the central cover, but because we have a manual system of people running it in.
Fair point.
Bangalore is basically like, I've got 99 problems, but a pitch ain't one.
The best drainage system in Bangalore is in Chinnaswamy, not on the roads.
It's also probably true. I think there were guys literally dunking towels in there and squeezing it into buckets and taking it out, right?
It was not towels. It was, they pulled out the sponges from the seats that were there, and then they were wiping the ground with that.
It was an absorbing session of play.
They know how to put bums on seats, man.
Yeah.
Or was that all just to remove the glue that was holding Shivam Dube's feet in place?
Gill also gave up his towel for the cause.
Caught on a sticky wicket.
Gill was happy to play underwater.
Speaking about absorbing sessions of play, since Varun brought the topic up, the WTC final is now in how many days? 8 days.
7th of June, right?
It starts on the 7th of June. It's in 8 days. And I want to ask this question now that PDP is there. It just brought me up. So India, I don't know if it cares for the WTC final or not, but I would think that Australia would.
Hey, what are you saying, da? Mace looks like a Sengol, okay? Like, definitely. Yeah. In it for the Sengol, please. Transfer of power from Australia to India.
Which was New Zealand, right? Oh, via Australia. Like that.
Via Australia. Trans-Tasman Sengol in Hobart.
Hobart, wait, explain this joke, please. What is the Hobart correction?
It's called the Trans-Tasman rivalry, and I think Hobart is in Tasmania, no? So he mentioned Hobart earlier in terms of baton passing on from Tendulkar to Cole. Now you edit all this out. That is your punishment.
Sengol ka grip nikal ke na.
No, you got to say it right. Mitron, Sengol ka grip nikal ke.
Oh, this is.
You had a question for PDP. Sorry.
Correct.
Yeah, no. My question for PDP was: do you think Australia is going to dial it in, or do they have any interest in this? Because they're going to be playing 6 tests in 7.5 weeks, right? And I don't think that entire bowling lineup is going to hold up for 6 tests, because I think the Ashes ends mid-July, July 15th or July 19th is when it ends.
Right.
It's a crazy schedule. I've never seen an Ashes so densely packed before, because I think the 100 has to start in August, so they have packed it completely. So with 6 tests in 7.5 weeks. I have a feeling that Australia might just dial it in, saying, whatever, we need, the Ashes is more important.
I mean, so those are two independents. I mean, it is true that there are a lot of people, maybe even within the team, who consider the Ashes to be more important than the WTC. But that said, I don't think they're going to dial it in. I think that bowling attack is pretty fresh, with the exception of Cameron Green, who doesn't bowl that much anyway. I think the rest of them are pretty fresh. And they've also got, I think, Neser playing county cricket and doing well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I definitely don't think they're going to dial it in. I mean,
also, Ashes are all going to be 3-day test matches with baseball. They'll get a lot of break problems.
Yeah. Baseball and rain. But I'd like to interrupt this podcast to tell you that Devon Conway won the player of the match. Why? What happened? Is Harsha Bhogle the only person on the panel?
Sunny J was adjudicating.
Sunny J was sleeping because it's past 2 a.m. Because you could have given it to Sai Sudarshan and then one more to Sai Sudarshan also. Just for
Wait,
fun.
Radhe. Jadeja got Gill's wicket and won the game.
You could have given it to anybody. Why give it?
You could have given it to any. Okay, you maybe not Dhoni, but you could have given it to pretty much anybody. I agree.
And the guys who put that sponge in and soaked it up, give it to those guys. They at least got a game for you. Or you give it to Jaisha. He pointed at his heart and all when CSK won. Nobody understood why. But why on earth would you give it to Devon Conway, who was so confused?
By the way, you might be confused because they give like 78 awards at the end of the IPL. They might have given him something, emerging player, power play, something of that kind.
Listen, like there is this sort of daily league which happens along with fantasy. And I was like, at least I won that damn thing, beating 7 other players, and Varun Murli at number 2. Who's had Devon Conway as vice captain? I just checked now. Bugger has beaten me on the back of this man of the match nonsense with 10 points. Oh.
Dhoni screwing you in ways you didn't even imagine, Raj. Didn't even play.
And a New Zealander winning the man of the match award.
That angle even he didn't think of.
Oh my God.
Everything else is predictably. Yashasvi, emerging player, Shubman, most valuable player. Devon Conway, who walked in so confused, like, are you asking me to clean something here? He's like, no, keep an award. We want you to keep an award because you're traveling a long flight. You're not even in the WTC. Keep an award. Like, I don't even remember. In the rain curtailed game, I played a rain curtailed innings. I had changed into my raincoat. I don't want an award.
I really didn't think this season could hurt me anymore, guys. I'm pouring myself a drink. No. Yeah. I had that one, dude. Wow.
Sorry to interrupt, PDP. I couldn't understand what was happening, so I interrupted. Please, let's go back to WTC.
No, so actually, I have a question for you guys. I mean, it just seems to me that Bombay seem to have like a very a fairly rigid formula, where they've got like a foreign left-arm fast bowler.
Oh, Mumbai Indians.
Got like Mumbai Indians. Sorry, and it just seems like they've stuck with that for so many years now, and they never seem to change from that. So, do you think maybe that hurt them this year, or did they just play badly?
They made playoffs, right? They made the playoffs.
I think they played well. I mean, at least in the second half, I think they played well. I don't think they played badly by any measure, but they were 1-2 heavyweights. By heavyweights, not in the performance, in that they're weighing the team down like that. There were 2-3 people in that team that I think is causing problems for them.
No, but that you're right, But that's been the template, right? From Mitch McClenaghan.
Exactly. Trent
Bolt was there. Yeah. They've always had that in their team. Also, Mitchell Johnson.
Correct.
Was part of that team, and so the left arm pace coming in Wankhede, and that's why they got Behrendorff, right? It was pretty evident, and they used to go with this 2 fast bowler. So they did. They did a lot of these things which are predictable, which they do. Like they had Riley Meredith at the start. Just that it didn't work out the way they wanted to work out.
Exactly.
And they don't have that resilience of making do with what they have, right? Okay, these are the cards we're dealt with. So the cards didn't work. So this is how we're going to put it together. And that's where, but still, despite that, their batting
is what... okay.
held
The
up.
problem is not that they've stuck with a left-hand pacer for 11
No,
years
no.
together. It's that they've stuck with Rohit Sharma for 11 years together. Who has had, in the words of Harsha Bhogle, the most objective commentator in the world, an unhappy season with the bat.
In fact,
most
in
unhappy
terms of-
season since the last unhappy season for Rohit Sharma. He has not done anything in the IPL in the last, I think, 3 years at least for sure. He's had 3 dirty seasons with the bat.
But enough about Dhoni. Okay.
in fact, over the last 5 years, this was technically his best season because he average was anyway less than 25. He struck at more than 130 for the first time over the last 5-6 seasons. So technically, he had a good IPL by his own lofty standards.
Yeah,
And
he
I
was
think it was
going for it right from the start, right? And if it worked, it worked. It didn't work, it didn't work. But at least he was not like prodding around. And like, if you remember, like last season, Rahane was opening for KKR, and his strike rate was like 105, 103 or something like that. He was barely managing to, get back.
Signature Rahane cementing his test spot. Yeah.
No. Putting forward his name as a CSK prospect at the right time.
Oh.
What you're saying. No, I think this season, right, and we're talking about Rohit and we have spoken about Kohli as well in the past. I think this season is finally that moment in Indian cricket where Indian cricket agrees that, okay, these old format stars, all format stars who are basically anchors are probably not the answer in T20. And I think going forward, I know it's already happened. Rahul, Kohli and Rohit were all dropped from the T20 team. But I think we'll never go back to that era again. We'll never have
Kohli's
multiple
just
anchors
had
playing.
His best season in a while, no?
No, but he also got his ass handed over to him. No, he did. That's true. But I think he'll continue to have those kinds of seasons, hopefully, in the IPL. But I doubt he'll come back into the Indian team on the back of this.
Wait, has he actually been dropped? No.
He has missed
We
the
haven't
last.
Unofficially,
He's been
Hardik Pandya has
rested.
been captain because Rohit Sharma has weddings to attend.
Yeah, Rohit, Kohli and KL have all missed the whatever few T20s. In New Zealand, they played something, and against Sri Lanka, I'm guessing you can always make that guess. India played some T20s against Sri Lanka at some point. I believe there was some.
Given the roster, given the huge abundance of talent, like you have guys like Rinku Singh and Yashasvi Jaiswal and all of those who are ready to make the jump. It just makes so much more sense, for them to have separate teams where, okay, yeah, Kohli is great, is still in pretty good nick. He was scoring 150 plus, 160 plus, but they can make that jump where they say, you know what, we'll have separate format players, and that way you just have more these other players who are, you can have T20Is as the blooding ground where they are playing, and then you have the progression. Because one of the things I was actually thinking of is, with everyone saying Test cricket is dying and all that, my secret wish is for the Saudis to step in and do something like how they've done with golf, where you have the live tour where you have all these guys playing, paying huge amounts of money to all these guys. I want them to do something like that for Test cricket, because that's the only way. In my mind, I think Test cricket can survive. You have the Saudis come in, get all these players, and play Test cricket on a separate. They're all well paid. They can play Test cricket, and you can take Test cricket from the country to country and play tours there.
In Saudi Arabia.
No, Saudi guys. Like the live tour is not just in Saudi, right?
Your home Saudi and the Saudi.
Oh,
but
why will they do all this?
Thinking to sustain Test cricket.
But why will Saudis come and invest in Test cricket?
It's sport washing.
They're investing in everything. They might as well invest in this also. What is that?
But this is not like that spend 30 crores in 30 days kind of story. They have to get money back also. No, I don't know if you understand.
Arunachalam.
But if they invest the money, nothing is coming back in Test cricket. Like old uncles who read the newspaper in the stands and ask questions in Arabic. Why am I here? What are you playing? I came here 3 days ago. There was no rain also. This is so hot. Why do I have to keep coming back and reading the paper here? I read the paper in my house. I have 14 wives also. I don't need this garbage. But I think, this is money is not there at all.
Macha, what? Macha, they'll ask each other, Macha, what is the time? Galich times.
Same. You can't do anything with that format is not going to work. Those guys like crash bang and they're trying to milk money from any sport there is. That they'll invest in. Test cricket, I think it will always be quiet. Like people like this, 9 people in a pod, like that, some 100 pods are there. We'll keep watching Test cricket. We'll keep playing and supporting Test cricket and going. Like in our pod itself, I think 5 people are going to watch WTC. They keep saying the last game Kohli will retire. Kohli was thinking 15 more years I'll play. I want to score 100 more centuries because he's got the fitness. I don't think Test cricket is dying anytime soon. We may die. Test cricket is not dying.
This episode of Bits and Pieces brought to you by Aramco.
All these haram course.
Sorry to hijack the Rohit Sharma conversation. Yeah.
No, the reason I was thinking in those lines is because of that whole distribution structure that came out, with the thing of how they were going to give money to people and all that. And then if you see, how much some of the other countries were going to get from the ICC, that's what I was thinking broadly, widely in that thing. There is no way for them to sustain, like the BCCI doesn't need money. It's sustaining by itself anyways. It has the IPL and, we're good. But the other countries are not. And what's funny is that, we say the whole argument is that, India brings the most revenue to the ICC. Therefore, they get 36% or 35% or whatever that number is. But the IPL that the BCCI runs is not run like that, right? The PDP had that question. I think some other people had a question as like, what is the incentive? You all make the same money, right? All franchises are given the same split by 10 or by 8 that it used to be before, irrespective of where you end up. And therefore, they have that same amount of money to invest into their players, and which is why you have a tournament that is, so competitive, where a number 9 and a number 10 still makes the finals the very next year, and it can stay competitive. But here, if you do this where, okay, Sri Lanka or, West Indies, you get only like 5% of the earnings, then it is not going to be competitive. And the whole point of sport is only when it is competitive, right? Okay, yeah, we like India winning games and it's fun to watch India win. But it's only fun to watch India win when there is a competitor on the other side, where someone is even putting up a fight. If you don't have people putting up a fight, then what good does 36% do? That 36% is going to be 36% of nothing. That's how it goes.
Yeah. While I agree with you, right, and this is something that I've also been talking about quite a bit. I also wonder what happens to the money that these countries actually are getting right now from the ICC, right? I think Sri Lanka makes somewhere close to $30 million. I don't know what the exact number is every year from the ICC. No questions asked from that pie. It of course is nothing compared to what India gets, but 30 million for a country of Sri Lanka's size is a lot of money. And if you look at Sri Lanka's cricket output, whatever they're putting out, it doesn't look like $30 million have been spent in improving their cricket. And you could say the same thing about 3 or 4 other countries as well, right? Pakistan, South Africa. Maybe some countries are trying to do something with the money, but really it's not showing any commensurate output. So I don't know if giving more money is really the solution, because cricket ultimately is being run by politicians everywhere. And politicians don't necessarily have the sport's best interests in their minds at all times. I don't know what the solution is, but more money may not be the answer.
Achha, literally, you're sitting in the US and saying sport is fun only when competitive. We'll launch 64 IPL teams there. What is there? Put it all, like every day IPL final. What is that? எல்லா நாளும் எங்கள் வீட்டில் கார்த்திகை whatever. Every night in my home IPL final. Please come on.
No, I'm saying from that thing, right? Because you have Miami Heat and these guys who are still coming up and able to beat guys like Boston or the Clippers, and the Lakers makes it against the Nuggets. It's because of that, like that revenue sharing is there, and so teams, you have a bad season, you can come back and you still put something up, versus it's not going to be fun.
What is there? So Chamarajpet Chuggers will beat Nungambakam Nuggets next season. You wait. It is happening. Like, what is there? Like, it's never. Today itself, Ashna has put tweet about B.
Marble of mosquitoes, correct.
No, B. Sai Sudarshan has made his way.
Jolly Rovers.
Something. Yeah. Jolly Rovers. Oh, nice name.
I think that was the name of the team, no?
Yeah.
Legendary Jolly Rovers.
Yeah.
But otherwise, what is the function of the ICC, right? If you're not trying to propagate the game and go into newer markets and grow the game, because every board is responsible for its own development. I get that, but then you have this whole thing called the ICC, isn't their role to get cricket to going more than 11 countries or 10 countries or something like that. I mean, we'll say that, okay, it is the most watched sport. It is the most watched sport because you have the huge population. That's all. But it's not played in so many countries or anything, unlike soccer or any of the other games, right? So that's what I was kind of thinking. Okay, like going back to Murli's comment, right? We are so horrible and in terms of being cricket tragics that tomorrow, if you televise on YouTube Ireland versus Papua New Guinea, also I will sit and watch. I have no problem watching Ireland, Papua New Guinea, or the other day, in fact, US versus Papua New Guinea. I was following scores on Cricinfo.
Audience of 3 people, you, Murli, and Vikas.
Yeah, Murli said earlier, like this podcast, in this podcast group itself, most people don't follow all that. By the way, please.
But I think deprivation is a beautiful thing, right? And may sound slightly emotional here, but when I was there in India and I could play cricket every week, and my friends were talking cricket, and we could feel the energy. It was I don't think I watched so much, but stuck here, I have watched all of those ECN videos where a guy first jumps outside the boundary and then throws it inside, trips over the ball. I've seen all of those matches live on fan code because I feel like I miss cricket so much. I don't know what to do. And here the season is so bad. You can only play 4 months in a year. And all of the streams are bad. Some 15,000 pop-ups will come. So we're just like, whatever you show, I'm happy to watch. I think Mayur just feels the same, but it's not representative of anybody who lives back in India.
No, but this is a good strategy. This is what ICC needs to do. Take everyone living in India, make them go to Western countries. Yeah. That way, they will also be happy. Cricket will also grow.
Populate the national teams there also. Murli said open soon, leading Portugal. No, but I had in the interest of not Arachamav again. Max, I had a question. Like cricket existed in the US way before it went to many other countries, right? And it died out.
Yeah.
Why did that happen? And is there a way to sort of revive or make cricket survive in any of the new countries that you think it needs to go to?
I like how you preface this as saying you didn't want to Arachamav, and then you asked a very deep question.
No, I'm saying literally I think Philadelphia somewhere in the US was very, very big stronghold for cricket, right? And it's like I'm talking about the 19th century, I think. But
yeah. In fact, I think USA and Canada played some international match.
The very first one.
Yeah.
Yes.
McCallum did not score in that match, so that tournament did not catch fire. What? That's all over.
But now that's what, right? It's for the last so many years, it's just been expats putting together teams and playing against each other. But now we have Jason Roy playing for the Los Angeles Knight Riders. So maybe players like that will probably drum up some interest. We don't know. Let's see.
Oh, that is LA KR. I like that.
Yeah, and then there is going to be the Dallas Super Kings.
Jason Roy, Great Britain, very good wife.
What a reference!
Oh my God. Resistance is futile. Jason Roy, great. Very good wife.
BB King and Jason Roy, love that. Very nicely done.
But honestly, I think it's a matter of time before the BCCI changes the rules about players requiring an NOC to play in Indian players requiring an NOC to play in foreign leagues, simply because the foreign leagues now have teams which are all owned by Indian franchises, right? So it's only going to be a matter of time before they lobby and get that rule changed.
Yeah. So NOC, knocking on heaven's door.
Right? Exactly.
Miss. Why are we talking about all this, though? I have no idea. Meanwhile, the presentation is still going on.
Are you serious?
MS Dhoni has just collected.
Have they found another way to screw?
20 crores is the prize money. Yeah. He's just collected 20 crore rupees from Raja Bini and Mr. Jaisha.
That's the double the amount Sri Lanka, New Zealand. What do these guys get from the ICC? No? How much do they get? Whatever it is.
Now you're checking my conversion and speed math and all. Very difficult. Sorry. So coming back to the topic, so this was what CSK's which end final was this for CSK, because they are experts at losing IPL finals, right?
Who?
Famous CSK. This CSK's thing is we will do the basics better than anyone else and get to the playoffs. Somehow we'll go to the final. Final better team will beat us. And final better team will beat us most of them.
Yeah. Spare a thought for Hardik Pandya, who's lost his first IPL final ever.
And for Ajinkya Rahane, who's never won an IPL before this,
sixth IPL final, Hardik Pandya has lost for the first time. But also, when we talk about IPL/other captaincy grades, I think his captaincy record is a win rate of 73%, if I'm not mistaken, which is insane. Which is like
Gujarat has been
higher than
elite. No, they topped the league last year as well, right?
Yeah. No, just having a superstar team isn't enough. I think that's why when somebody spoke of Dhoni, I said marshalling those troops was also hard. I think he did it beautifully, rotated well. I think the only mistake he did was one brain fade. I think Nehra drank too much. They got Shanaka and I think somebody else instead of Sudarshan and Josh
in Chennai,
and that one game they lost. Apart from that, I think they barely made any mistake.
Like we're playing in Chennai, which Sri Lankan do we have? Oh, Shanaka. Okay, come play. We'll take out one trailer.
Dhoni's talking to Harsha.
Okay, fine. WTC final prediction time. So I can eat more humble pie in the future.
Hey, I think one good thing from an Indian perspective in the WTC final is that most of the players are in form, right? So Gill is in form.
Kohli is in form.
Is he? Okay, Kohli is in form.
Hopefully Rohit Sharma will get injured.
Rahane is in form.
Yeah.
Shami has been bowling absolute thunderbolts. Siraj has been
Jadeja is in form, although he was not given man of the match for some weird reason.
He'll post some cryptic tweet today.
Yeah. Why are they not taking Saha, dude? I don't get it. Wow.
Yeah,
will randomly come and keep wicket. No, in that match. That's going to be fun.
Who'll keep?
Bharat is fresh.
Bharat.
The optimist looks at the glass half full.
So Ponting made this comment the other day that the Indian team should go for an X factor in the middle order. So he backed either Sky or this guy.
Ajinkya Rahane, no? X factor.
Dude, neither
player is only X factor.
These guys don't have skin in the game. Okay, they'll randomly say play Sky, play this guy, play that guy, and then ball will be swinging around hoops.
Rahane is the X factor, right?
Rahane is X player is only X factor.
Saha should have been the X factor, dude. Please. I don't know. If it's a one-off test match and you're bringing Rahane, you might as well have brought Saha.
Yeah, but I think Hazelwood has been declared fit for this one. So
he was never unfit. It was just whatever it could give him a ticket back there to go get enough rest. And
it was all full acting.
It was definitely some major Vijaykanth level acting update. He just acted like there was holding something. Went back in a minute. He had flown back. How you so quickly went on a flight? Went back and suddenly he was scared. We have to follow his Instagram and see what he was doing. All of this is just like showbiz, and then they'll make it there. But I hate to say this, and I repeated this on every pod. We're going to miss KL Rahul there. I really feel like that dude could have scored something there. Rohit Sharma is batting like he forgot how to bat. Virat Kohli is good, but Virat Kohli. I just felt like in the top, if somebody could score like 75, 80 with confidence and play the swinging ball, unfortunately, that was KL, man. He's going to be missed.
KL is London, so it's not too far for him to
go. No, I actually want Australia to win because it's been a very long time since they have been like, number one or a team that is.
They won the last.
India have not won an ICC title in 10 years, man.
In tests, it's been a long time since they took a beating from Graham Smith and those teams and all that. It's been a while for them, right? And coming after this whole Justin Langer thing, so much of criticism for Cummins just because he has some other. He doesn't. His views are a bit different. So I just think it'll be a nice thing if it culminates for them because they missed that last World Cup WTC final because of over rates and other nonsense and things that happen. Right? So it'll be good for them to win. We don't care about it anyways. Our greatest final just happened. So it doesn't matter to us. But Australia, I think it'll be good for them to win. And same thing for the Ashes also, right? They haven't won an Ashes in England for a very, very long time. It was almost 20 years.
No, Steve was the last guy who did it. 2001, I think.
Wow. Yeah. So then that'll be good for them. I think if they can win these, 4 out of 5 tests or 3 out of 5 tests, that'll be great for them.
So I actually agree with Max but for a slightly different reason. I think that if you see this WTC cycle, which is going to finish with this final, you can make a very strong case for Australia being the best team over that cycle. They performed really well.
No, please, what? What are you saying?
What?
No.
Who's better than them?
India, obviously. What?
What? No. So where did India?
Right.
Sorry.
What?
Australia better, no? Australia better, no?
Yeah, I thought Australia were
better. They beat Mumbai Indians in playoff, is it? How are they better?
How is Australia better? They beat England, Joe Root's England 4-0, is it?
No,
Still beat them, no?
No. Okay. So they beat Joe Root's England, that's fine. I mean, India also beat Joe Root's England. But
they didn't, by the way.
Oh. They won off.
They beat Joe Root's England.
They beat Joe.
They lost to
Oh, now we are calling it Joe Root's England. Ram Gopal Verma ki aag jaisa hai.
No, but I thought they did really well to win a series in Pakistan. Mad respect to them for that.
1 match out of 3.
Come on, they almost won.
No.
It was a 15-day test match.
Yeah, 1 match out of 3, dude.
They won 1 test match. England won 3 test matches. So England is 3 times better than Australia. Then Ben Stokes England.
3 guna laga.
Okay, all this is fine. I have to interrupt and read out some wonderful quotes from MS Dhoni. Please bear with me.
Why?
Harsha asked him whether this is his last game. So this is what MSD
Again, he already asked him last time.
The easy thing for me to say. The easy thing for me to say is thank you and retire. But the hard thing to do is to work hard for 9 months and try to play 1 more IPL season. For the amount of love I have received from CSK fans, it would be a gift for them for me to play 1 more season. The way they've showed their love and emotion. It is something I need to do for them. Without doing it for the fans, much. I just coming back.
He should have. I mean, Harsha has asked him this question 3 times, dude. He should have said like, "Ek aur baar pooch liya na, to mic ka grip nikal ke."
So also, by the way, another very interesting picture about Ambati Rayudu. The special thing about Rayudu, if he's on the field, he always gives 100%. We played for India A together. I felt always he will do something special, but this is the special thing. He is also like me, who doesn't use a phone a lot. Make of that what you may.
What?
He doesn't use his phone much.
I've ended it with and I never thought personally that he would retire before I do or something like that. He would have been at least before me. But
like that, many people are there. Yeah. Okay, broadcast is over. No, it's not over.
No, but sorry. PDP, you were saying Australia is more deserving, right?
Yeah, I thought over the entire cycle, I thought Australia performed it. I thought
the whole reason they have a final now is so that you can put a rest to all these conversations. That's okay.
Get it.
Whoever wins the game is no.
Yeah. No, okay. So I get that argument, but I just feel so. Normally, I support whoever plays against Australia or England. Okay, so the Ashes is really difficult for me. But in this case, I just think that they've done really well over the last 2 years. So I wouldn't mind if they won.
Hey, wait, literally. Okay, listen. Their 3 away series was against India, which they lost humiliatingly. 2-1 is a flattering.
Humiliatingly.
Yeah, 2-1 is a very flattering. Please, come on. Anyone who saw that series and thinks that 2-1 is a unflattering.
Achha, you're coming like that. You're saying don't look at the score line. Look at what actually happened.
Look at the score line. Like India 2-1.
2-1 is not flattering. 2-1 is a good result. 2-1 was a decent result. 4-0 would have been
a good result for Australia. I'm saying 2-1 is a flattering result considering how they played.
That's what.
Yeah, Sri Lanka, they drew 1-1. Okay, they won 1 test in Pakistan out of 3. That's it. Literally, like they won 3 tests away. You're like, oh, they've like done amazing. Meanwhile, India away beat Bangladesh twice, England twice, and South Africa once. But what a win it was! If it were not for Super Sport, we would have won that 3-0.
If it were not for Bits and Pieces podcast launching.
Prashant, I really want to understand where are you coming at this from? Like, why did Australia have no? Honestly, like, forget all the sarcasm and all that, but why did Australia have a better WTC? Literally, like, they played India and lost. Pakistan, they won one match. Sri Lanka, they drew. Sri Lanka of all teams at this particular time, they drew 1-1. Okay, like no, please,
guys.
no.
Even our most loyal listeners will be wondering why we are fighting over Australia versus India on WTC on the day when the IPL final ended.
This assertion made me so angry that I had to go and check back the WTC table after 3 weeks.
Oh, you still have that bookmark, na? That's your favorite page.
Australia did finish higher, but I don't think this debate should go on any longer. Like I think they're 7th to 11th.
I think WTC also they should have like playoffs and they should have a best of 5 final as we propose for CSK versus GT. We should have a India versus Australia, the Border Gavaskar finals. That would have been the right way to decide.
First, right? So they will get they will be the home team.
Only if it rains for like 48 days continuously, da.
No, I'm saying they'll be the home team and they'll get the better.
No, home team and all. Narendra Modi is the home team. Albo will come.
WTC final.
Home team.
That only I'm also telling. The home of cricket is Ahmedabad. What are you talking about? Albo will come. They will ride the super stopper and that's it. Ashish Nehra will put that powder and all on the side pitch and dry it up. And you start
Max,
playing.
one extra commentator they'll get. Michael Clark they can bring and also Mark Waugh. And Dinesh Karthik has only one question he's allowed to ask per session. That's about it.
Okay, so let's go around. Right, I want Australia to win. PDP also looks like he wants Australia to win. Nitin, what's your choice?
You want Australia to win? Okay, nice.
We are not discussing club cricket, right? Because I have a gut feeling of Indian, and I think many of us are.
But suddenly don't start spouting BMKJ on the spot. I'm just genuinely asking you, who do you think is going to win the final?
Oh, you're saying who do you think you win?
Who do you think or who do you want to win?
I want them to win. I think they will win. They're both the same.
I couldn't fire Kundan. I want it to be there and it is like that.
Wait, who do you want to win, Max? Chennai Super Kings can't win. Who is going to win? You want Australia. You generally support Australia when they play.
Max is like pre-rationalizing. He's like, I expect Australia to win, so I want them to win. So
you're like my son. He will ask me which team is ahead, and then you say I'll support that team.
Correct,
like that.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, like
then it's fine. That is fine. Okay.
Okay, Nitin, your prediction.
But my only connection to Indian nationalism that I still have is that I somehow irrationally support the Indian Test cricket team. So I'm not going to change now. So yeah. But I don't, Mohammad Shami's hamstring can pop at any moment.
Enough. Because
of course, I want India to win.
No, you want. What is your prediction?
No.
My prediction is Australia will win, but I obviously want India to win. Just to answer.
Same as Nitin. Australia do start as firm favorites, but I would obviously want India to win.
Okay. India is firm favorites. I think Gill and Kohli will score hundreds. And there will be some great bowling from everyone, including Ashwin included. We will see the sword dance from Jadeja as well. But India is firm favorites, dude. Australia.
My only concern, or the big reason for my concern with India is the fast bowling. India's best bowlers are coming after a full IPL season. I'm really worried about them. Yeah, but they've also been traveling up and down. And I mean, the IPL is intense. Let's be honest. We know what happened to Zahir Khan after IPL 2011 when he went to England. If that happens to Shami on day one, game over at that point. Okay. Unfortunately, no impact sub in this format. So also we don't have the right impact sub to sub out Shami.
By the way, I don't know if you guys noticed since we've been like talking over each other, which Nitin explicitly forbade us to do, but in the absence of Srinath Sripat's silky whiskey voice, Varun's voice is amazing, dude. Varun, why don't you take it away and tell us what will happen in the WTC final?
So speaking of my voice, my wife says I have a face for radio podcast.
You have come to the right place.
Yeah, definitely want India to win. I'm not that jaded yet to not support India. I think it'll be a tight match. Hoping for some good individual performances. Kohli, I think, is in good form. He seems to be in the right mental space. So, hoping for something good to come out of him.
Hey,
Varun, we can't hear you, man.
We lost you. I think the prediction part alone, you muted yourself.
You're on mute now. Oh, he can't.
Your voice is still good for radio, by the way.
You're on mute. Oh God.
Wait,
I think it was an audio problem.
Hey, but Varun spoke like a true fantasy player. No, it's like I'm hoping for a tight match. Both sides will perform well and all that. He's picking players from both teams.
But wait a sec. WTC final will happen after the next episode. We have done everything. Now, next episode, we have nothing to talk
about. Exactly. Next episode, new prediction.
I think we can take apart this IPL enough to repent, like not talk about anything positive, but all the negatives, I think we can talk. There's enough.
Oh, what have we been doing for the last 7 weeks?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Varun, you're back.
Yeah, Varun, you can tell from the beginning.
But have memes been missing for the last 2 weeks in IPL, or have I just missed them?
You've been missing from the IPL last week. Yeah.
No, but like what memes have happened in the last 2 weeks?
What do you mean by what memes have happened? Like
memes
new
in general, yeah. Other than Gill's towel.
Dude, I don't know if it is my search algorithm or whatever. Wherever I turn, I'm seeing Sachin ka bat ka grip only. There are variants of that. I don't know. I'd never heard of that until we spoke about it on the podcast. After that, there is nothing else I've heard.
Everything is grip only, including
I don't know. No, I don't know if that is personalization or actually there has been a proliferation of that.
Phenomenon,
yeah.
And I think
Badshah.
Like Sachin, no. God of cricket. Shine Shah. Whatever. Blabbering.
Anyway, guys, I think Dhoni did not retire because he did not want to overshadow Rayudu other guys from getting the limelight, right? You know, the simpleton that he is, you know, he didn't want to steal the thunder of everyone. So franchise has won a trophy. Rayudu is retiring. They wanted to be everything about. That's why he won the trophy and gave it to Rayudu as well, saying, you know, here you go.
Is he the youngest in the squad, Rayudu?
Yeah, youngest to retire.
Dude, I'll tell you something more to irritate you guys further. This is what Hardik had to say. I am very happy for Dhoni. Destiny had this written for him. If I had to lose, I don't mind losing to him. Good things happen to good people.
Dude, okay, what is this? I think Max is the perfect person to tell us. What is the saltiness between Hardik Pandya and Rohit Sharma?
Oh, this is a new one.
I didn't notice too.
Okay, I think Varun, we should throw to Varun. Yeah.
Yeah, so Hardik, in an interview, I think he said there are 2 ways to approach IPL. One is where you buy all superstars and let them play. The other is when you grow players. And in Mumbai, what we did was buy all superstars. And at CSK, they found players and molded them into a team, which a lot of Mumbai Indians fans got very annoyed with because people like Hardik, Krunal, Sky, Bumrah, they claim were all not superstars when they came to Mumbai. They were grown within the setup of the Mumbai Indians. Whereas CSK has also had bought a lot of international players, guys like Watson, Hayden, who all contributed to their success. So there's been a little bit of frostiness, I think, with Rohit Sharma as well, because he's not been given the credit of growing players the same way that Dhoni has.
But did that actually boil over to an actual confrontation or something between Hardik and Rohit?
No, it wasn't a confrontation. I think Rohit
I know Rohit responded to it also in
Rohit was asked and he said, you know,
Hamara team maybe.
But again, it's not just the popular view, right? They have a history of doing that. And CSK
they don't
will buy, but CSK
they absolutely don't. Mumbai have actually nurtured some very, very good
they have as well. That is the part that they learned from CSK and started doing that. But if you look
at from CSK
history, Yeah, if you look at Mumbai's history, that's how they bought all these guys. Like
One sec.
Levy,
Who are these young children that?
all of these guys?
Who are these
One
young
day
children
someone
that? No,
scores,
please. Who are
immediately
these
you'll get
children that
everything.
MS Dhoni and team have
Hey,
been
don't
nurturing
talk
Machan, the
over each
last
other.
5?
Start from season 1.
So the
No, tell me.
important
That's why I'm
point
asking
is,
last 5 years. Right?
at the start of the season, Max told us you don't grow wheat and sunflower and all that. Grow strawberries. That is what CSK has done well, which is what Mumbai has failed to do. Max.
No, so
yeah, go ahead.
okay, I tell you what, I have a huge problem with the fact that anyone who talks about Dhoni and this whole, I mean, there is such a huge confirmation bias here that no one even, it's like the elephant in the room, right? I mean, everyone talks about the things he gets right because that's what you want to see. You choose to not see all the decisions he gets wrong. And I think that, I think someone should point it out. I mean, someone should call it out, and no one does.
Today's final is a classic example.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it is a textbook definition of confirmation bias, where you cherry pick evidence that suits your bias and you ignore everything else. So when you talk about Dhoni's legacy as a captain, it's always, World Cup, Champions Trophy, IPL, and then that weird Champions Trophy that happened, T20 yeah, all of that. No one talks about 5-zip, 4-zip, all of that crap, which also happened when he was captain, right? I mean, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah, I just think this is a little blindsided, but even today, all the credit is very post facto, because he took a lot of effort to try and see if this game would lose. I would never take that away from him. Walking into bat, the bowling changes, everything was like, taking it too deep is one, taking it to drown is another. He really tried to drown this. He tried to drown this by walking. No, that was some Shah Rukh Khan in whatever the movies where he walks out of a helicopter level shit that he tried to pull off, because he had like 1,400 batsmen inside who could actually swing better than him. And I won't take the whole he was hitting a 200 argument, because you could hit a 200 only when there are 3 balls left, not when there are 15. At that point, anybody could have sealed the game. So that was definitely a lot of, I think, changes were a little strange. Yes, he's known for many of his captaincy stints, but today was none of it. So I think today should be credited to whatever Jadeja managed to pull off right out of the.
No, that and all is fine. Max said one thing, Mumbai Indians learned how to nurture young players from Chennai. That's the one, Macha. That it isn't dripping from everywhere. I don't know what to say. Only I'm like,
okay. I'm not saying it just randomly also. Like there is, if you see all the initial seasons out there, right?
Rayudu, Kedar Jadhav.
All the initial seasons, that's how they were, right? Or the Sachin Ponting years. That's what was happening. Like, okay, we'll get this guy, we'll get that guy. But it's only after Mahela took over, you started seeing the change in how their approach was, their scouting, all of this, right? All the Bumrah years, the Hardiks and the Pandyas, all came once Mahela took over. The Ponting and Sachin years have been really absolute shit for Mumbai. It would just be like, I'll go to the mall and let me just get whoever is there. Just open up cricket for some random score sheet. Whoever scored 50, okay, get that guy in the team. That's how their whole approach was. And this thing that PDP brought about Dhoni, right? It is true. There's no refuting. But it is also because we have this history of deifying people, right? We are always looking for idols and heroes, and we want to, always look for, which is why we are ready to gloss over some of the other things. We can cherry pick because that is what we want. We are desperately searching for heroes, desperately searching for heroes to make into gods, or make into proclaimed. Like, we've had the most number of coronations than England. They only have 1 coronation in 99 years. But we will every time coronate a new king. Okay, you are the new next coming of the king. You are the next coming of the king. Right? That is what we do. And we are, as a community, we are so desperate for that in every walk in life, whether it is sport or politics or anywhere else. We're always trying to make someone the hero and say, okay, it is because of you. We'll always want to look up to someone. It is sacrilege to ever bring that person down. Right?
But coronation not equals causation.
Amazing.
No, but See, I think that's
Played
where
rough.
Prashant's point also comes in, right? He said famously, like, we are a country of, I don't know, 1.4 billion people or whatever it is, and we have very short attention spans, right? Like, no one's watching like 5 days of a test match and all, dude. Like, whatever the result is, we'll buy that, which is why like T20 always holds sway, because you don't really need to watch T20 for anything except 4 overs of the match, right? Maybe like last 2 overs of the batting innings and last 2 overs of the chasing innings or whatever, because everything that can go down will go down in those last 4 overs, and then you write convenient narratives around it. Like, I don't know why Dhoni went in where he did today. He should have come in the last over and like nudged us.
I personally think he probably thought it was very easy to win from there.
Yeah,
And
it
on
should have
paper
been.
it was. It should have been a
Of
walk in the
course.
park, 22 or 14.
Rahane and
whatever,
Rayudu
right?
would kill the game, dude.
Yeah,
They
22
literally
or
killed the
14. And so I thought Dhoni came for a nice, stylish finish, which didn't transpire. Then they eventually almost, to his credit, he didn't beat up too many balls, at least. Least damage possible he did. He came pretty well.
even better reaction time than his stumping of Gill.
Pretty much,
Like,
yeah.
that was 0.1 second. This was
Yeah.
0.01 seconds. He got out and like saved
Yeah.
Chennai the blushes. Yeah.
Oh,
This
but
was one of the few. This was one of the few times that WG Grace's line could legitimately be used to say the crowd came to see me, not to Mohit Sharma.
yeah. No, Dhoni's job is to take the spare parts and bring it till playoffs. After that, it's 2 games, right? At 2 games, anything can happen. That's pretty much it. They should have lost today. Like, there's no way they should have won after that. 10 of 2 balls, man. Like, yeah.
No, so I
But
mean,
the sum of spare parts is greater than the whole.
yeah. Just before we
Good
wind
one.
up, right?
Almost
I
squares.
think what is critical and what Chennai and a few other teams have done well, what Bangalore and RR definitely have not done, is to ace your matches in the home games, right? I think RR
Chennai
has
this time
won.
did not do that, by the way. Chennai struggled with
in
their home
general,
games.
they've set up the ground at least such that, or the team such that it'll sort of favor them in the home games. RR, for instance, won 1 out of 5 games in Jaipur, and that's literally where they failed to qualify. And I think Bangalore also, even Mumbai for that matter, like if they don't chase at Wankhede, they are like sitting ducks. So I think a lot of it needs to go around the stadium that you're playing in, and then setting up the team for that also, which is where there's a problem. Unless you're Punjab.
Same with KKR also. The curator has blocked Nitish Rana's number also. So everywhere I think it is. If you call me one more time, I will inform the police. I just want a wet ground. No, none of that.
I just want a wet ground.
Block this number, report as spam.
It's very sad.
Yeah, I mean, Tony, you have a good point about maximizing home games, but Chennai has played 14 home games this year.
17 much.
17. Yeah.
Yellow tournament.
That has been insane. Like, wherever you go, like 50% of the crowd is wearing yellow t-shirts. Like you
every year Dhoni is retiring.
Today Hardik Pandya only is wearing yellow t-shirt only. Like, what is this? Random.
Okay.
So yeah, they won the tournament. They won the most home games.
Yeah, full home.
Everywhere home.
And the most hearts. The horrible thing they keep repeating everywhere.
Dil ko jeet liya.
Fir dil do
Ambuden amburde.
एक ही दिल है धोनी जी कितने बार जीतोगे. Okay.
Cool. Macha put closing ceremony called divine.
Narendra Shenoy is just logged. Narendra Shenoy is just logged in to give.
Stay awake.
Oh my God, we've wound up at 3:40 a.m. guys. This is a new low even for bits and pieces.
Kudos to the India boys. Mayurji, over to you.
Second, where is my?
I think Vikas has something to say.
Vikas, you're saying something, but we can't hear you.
No, I'm sleepy. That's all.
Oh, you again started sleep talking. Sorry, Pacha. Now do.
On that note, it is almost 4 a.m. in India. It's about 2 in Dubai. I think it's midnight in Portugal, and it is about 6 p.m. here in Detroit. as we are finally coming to an end on this episode. Thank you for listening to Bits and Pieces. This is Nitin, Murli, Prashant, Varun, Tony, Vikas, and myself, Max, signing off. We'll be back with an episode which truly will focus on the WTC. At least I hope it does.
Sounds like a threat, dude.
Thanks for sharing the time, Macha. Galich times.
Thank you, guys. So nice to do this.
Bye.